All right, so you know that feeling when you ask an AI a super, super specific question and the answer you get back is just completely useless? Yeah, we've all been there. It's a really common problem, but it turns out there's this clever technique that kind of flips the whole script on how AI thinks. We're going to break down something called step back prompting. It's a simple trick, really, but it can get you much, much better answers.
Okay, so first things first, let's really dig into the problem we're trying to solve here. You can think of it as the specificity trap. It's that classic can't see the forest for the trees situation, right? Where being too precise actually works against you. So why does that even happen? I mean, you'd think more detail would be a good thing, wouldn't you? Why is it that when we try to be incredibly precise, we sometimes just end up confusing the very system we're trying to help? It's a bit of a paradox, and it really gets to the very heart of how these models pull in information.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. Check out these two questions. On the left, we've got a really specific one. Yancel is born in what country? Now, an AI might go looking for that exact string of text and just come up empty. But look at the question on the right. It takes a step back. What is Yancel's personal history? That broader question lets the AI pull in all sorts of foundational knowledge, like a whole biography, which, guess what, probably has the country of birth in it. The original specificity was actually just noise, a distraction.
So how do we actually fix this? Well, the smartest AI systems out there, they don't just take your question at face value. Nope. They first try to make it better through a process called query translation.
And just to be clear, this isn't some neat little party trick. It's actually a critical first step in modern systems that use what's called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG for short. All that really means is that before the AI writes an answer, it first goes out and retrieves relevant information. So this translation step, it's all about making sure it grabs the best possible info to work with.
Now, there are a few main ways you can do this. You could, rewrite the question from a few different angles, or you could break it down into a bunch of smaller questions. Or you can do something that sounds a little weird at first. You can abstract it. You make it less specific. And yeah, that last one, that's exactly where we're headed. And that brings us right to the core idea of step back. Instead of adding more detail, instead of breaking things down, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to zoom out and look at the big picture. So here it is, the big reveal. Step back prompting basically teaches the AI to take a breath and ask itself, okay, hold on, what's the general concept behind this super specific question? By creating that broader question, it can go out and grab all this high-level conceptual context that the original laser-focused question would have just completely missed. And what's wild is that the instruction itself is just incredibly simple. You literally tell the language model, your task is to step back and paraphrase a question to generate a more generic one. That's it. It's such an intuitive command, and it just instantly shifts the AI's focus away from the tiny details and onto the core concept. Let's look at a real-world example here. The original question is pretty technical. What is task composition for LLM agents? Now, that's a totally valid question, but it's very, very specific. The step-back version becomes, what is the process of task composition? See what it did there? It just dropped the for LLM agents part. It's trying to first understand the fundamental process of task composition in general. That is the key. Okay, so the AI asks a more general question. So what, right? How does that actually lead to a better final answer? Well, the secret is in this really cool two-track retrieval system. Now, this is probably the most important part to get. The system doesn't just toss out your original specific question. No way. It keeps it. The real magic happens when it uses both questions, the original detailed one and the new high-level one, at the exact same time. So here's how it works, step by step. 1, you ask your original question. 2, the AI generates that step-back question. 3, and this is the core of it, the system goes and retrieves information based on both questions completely separately. So you're getting documents with all the nitty-gritty details and documents with the big picture concepts. 4, it mashes all of that context together. And finally, step 5, armed with this much richer, fuller picture, it answers your original specific question. Okay, so this sounds pretty powerful, right? But when should you actually use it? because it's not for every single question you could ever ask. It really, really shines in certain types of situations. This technique is just perfect for any kind of knowledge where those big foundational concepts are absolutely crucial for making sense of the tiny details. I mean, think about it. Technical documentation, academic textbooks, scientific papers, even legal archives. You can't possibly understand a specific line of code or a single court ruling without first understanding the larger system or the legal precedent, right? Step back prompting basically automates that learning process for the AI. And that really leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. This isn't just some clever AI trick. It's a really powerful principle for solving problems in general. Sometimes to find the right answer, you don't need to dig deeper into the weeds. You actually need to take a step back. So what big picture have you been missing by focusing only on the details?